The Raptors end their 5-game losing streak with a solid victory over the Chicago Bulls, 118-107. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Sherman Hamilton, Jack Armstrong, and Paul Jones. Jonesy, I'll start with you. Raps really turned the tables on the Bulls in that second half. When you're watching that, what did you think the keys of the win were?
Well, listen, they were having a tough time stopping Chicago all night. I thought they finally got their offense going in the second half. And boy, I give them a lot of credit. They were really, really undermanned, undersized. And I thought they did a great job. The way they played DeRozan too at times, even though they were still, Chicago was still shooting a high percentage and giving up good looks. Their double teams on DeRozan, there were times when they were able to shoot the gap, double teamed him far enough out on the floor, gave him some time to recover. But I think the real key was their offense in the second half, Randy. They really, really picked it up. And we say it all the time now. The NBA has changed. It's evolved in that way where it's your offense that has to keep you in games. You're not going to get, 4, 5, 6 consecutive stops in a row. Some of the analytics say if you get 3 stops in a row in the second half, you're generally going to win the game. So I thought their offense was really, really good in the second half.
Yeah, Jack, what adjustments did you see?
Well, I thought Jonesy really made a good point about, the doubles far away and then being able to get back and still be in the action. Without Zach LaVine, whatever your taste in Zach LaVine is, not having that second elite scorer on the floor, you can gamble a little bit more on a guy like DeRozan and take your chances with a Kobe White and Vooch and Caruso and guys like that and feel like you can survive. And I just thought for the Raptors as well was balance. I thought they did a really good job moving the ball. Nwora again off the bench. He gave him a huge lift there in the second half. Brown was excellent. You're not going to win at any level without good guard play. I thought Schroeder got better as the game went on. Gary Trent was excellent the whole night. And you just got, and Thad Young, my goodness, like old man River just keeps rolling along. He's in the right place at the right time to make plays. I'm so impressed by what I see from Thad Young. And, the guy's a true professional, stays in great shape, and he's prepared. And he had a few plays where Scotty Barnes got the assist, but Scotty Barnes doesn't get the assist without Thad Young moving to the precise spot to receive and make the play. And on the other hand, I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but I think Thad Young had 6 assists tonight as well. So, you could just run a lot of stuff through him, and he just makes the right plays. So I thought offensive balance, keeping the Bulls off kilter a little bit defensively. And I thought their energy was great. And again, the second unit was good. And Randy, you said this before we got on the air. They could easily be 2-0 on this road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sherm, when I'm watching that game, I just love how the Raptors made a real conscious effort to push the ball, especially in that second half. I thought that it led to a lot of, offensive opportunities.
Yeah, and as much as I agree that their offense was good in this game, I might be a little bit too old school right now because I thought their defense was excellent, especially in that fourth quarter. I thought the fact that the Raptors were getting hurt in the paint in that Atlanta game, we've seen it happen since, the fact that Jakob's been out of the lineup. They did a great job preventing paint penetration with consistency, keeping the ball above the free throw line or even at times above the 3-point line where the guards were swarming. They were active when they threw those double teams out there. Their hands were up. They were deflecting passes. And to your point, Randy, they were able to score a lot in transition off of those live turnovers. They had the numbers game going. So I liked what they did from a defensive perspective that led to offense. And offensively, when you're spread out like that, you don't have your main guys in the lineup consistently. It's hard to scout and hard to defend those guys. And I thought the Raptors did a good job of just hitting them in all areas. There's Gary Trent, there's Nwora, there's Brown. Everybody's chipping in. Thad Young. And, the hub is Scotty, but it's hard to defend when all those guys get it going. But to me, their defense, especially on the perimeter, really kept their paint out of being jeopardized consistently throughout the night.
Yeah, and Jonesy, just going back to Trent, 24 tonight, and I'm looking at his game log right now. After he went 8 of 9, he went 0 for 4 from 3, but then 4 of 8, 2 of 4, 3 of 8, 4 of 8, 6 of 11. Are you noticing something different in his shot, or is he just more comfortable out there?
I think he's not looking over his shoulder. He's
Hmm.
playing a little bit freer. And Gary's the kind of guy, when those first couple go down, look out. And he had 13 of his total in the first quarter tonight. Makes the first couple, starts moving more confidently. Teammates start looking for him, and it's almost that whole notion of things slowing down. He catches, shooting it with great rhythm. Even on shot fakes and side steps, he's not rushing. And I just think Gary's he's playing a little freer right now. But in
Hmm.
every game, when the first couple go down for him, I just think he becomes really, really confident, and he rides that throughout the rest of the game. And Jack always talks about this. Sometimes a guy's 0 for 4 coming to the plate in the ninth inning with one out and one on. Do you still want that guy at the plate? Do you still want Gary Trent taking a three late in the game? Yeah, I do, particularly when he's made a few early in the game and he's got his confidence. So I just think for him, getting off to a good start is really, really big.
Yeah, he's 50% from 3 in the month of January and taking almost 6 per game and making 3. So pretty great numbers from him. Another great game, Jack, from Wara tonight. You mentioned it already in your first answer, but just what else stuck out from you? For me, it was like that dunk attempt. I didn't know where that was coming from, but I mean, this guy's playing complete basketball.
I was just going to say what you said. The dunk attempt showed swag,
Hmm.
and to me, he's playing with swag. He's playing with confidence. He's hunting down his shots. He's moving effectively without the ball, cutting to the proper spots, using screens when they're there, sprinting out in transition, putting the ball on the floor, showing that he can be a bit of a playmaker. I think he's really taking the message that Coach Starko's throwing at him, saying, "Hey, man, you got to guard." And to me, I think he's really trying to guard. He had a few moments where he, in space, got beat, but there's no doubt he's trying to do the right thing. And hey,
Hmm.
look, you can look at Milwaukee and Indiana where he was previous. And the good thing, you're getting a guy that comes from a good college program who's
Yeah.
played in two winning situations in both, obviously, Milwaukee and Indiana. Was part of a championship team in Milwaukee. So he comes in with a good foundation. He's a son of a coach. So there's a lot of things I like there. And he's a great kid. I know him and I really like him. And I think he's ready for this opportunity. So I think this is a great situation for him. And it's funny. I chatted with him when he first got here, and I just said, "Hey, man, you're going to get a chance. This is a transition, a team in transition. When your number's called, be ready, man." And I tell you what, he's ready.
Hmm. Sure. Speaking of a team in transition, I don't know if Chicago thinks they are, but they're 22 and 26. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10. They're ninth in the play-in right now. What does this team do with the trade deadline coming up?
Well, the big question is Zach LaVine. I mean, he's got what is it, 138 million left on 3 years of his deal, and he's obviously banged up. But an interesting thing was going into this game. Chicago started 5 of 4, won 5, lost 14 games to start the season. And then after that 19th game, they went 17 and 11. And it kind of coincides when Zach LaVine has missed a lot of his basketball. And it makes you wonder, what's happening there? What's the reason for this team to be able to win more games when he's not there than when he is there? So Chicago's going to have to make a decision. I don't think the pieces they have right now fit in terms of them maintaining or sustaining long-term winning. So they're going to have to find a way to make some pieces maybe look a bit more valuable than they are to create some action around their franchise. But the way they're presently constituted, even with Zach LaVine there, they're not very good on the defensive end. And then offensively, they can score, but how they score is different. So there's some decisions to be made there, and they should probably, in my estimation, be active at the trade deadline. But you never know with these teams and how the money's moving up, and the salary cap's going up next year. You might want to sit and wait, but they've got to make some decisions soon.
Yeah, it's
Jonesy,
funny.
we talked about. Or sorry, go ahead, Jack.
If this was another sport, like in baseball or football, you trade a guy like Zach LaVine, he's almost at a point where, like, if I'm Chicago, I say I'll pay 30-40% of his salary just to unload him. uh, but you can't do that in the NBA.
Right.
But my point is, I think he's that type guy. If he were a baseball player or a football player, to unload him, just I think there to try to get equal value for him right now is really difficult. I don't think, and there's always a market for somebody, and you guys can agree or disagree with me. I don't see a market right now for him because as much as you look at his offensive numbers, I think it's just as much on the other end. And I don't think he's a bad guy or a bad teammate or anything like that. I just think his style of play, a lot of times he's not conscious of what the other guys are doing.
Jones, do you think they should trade him?
Or it only, yeah. I mean, yes, they can, because it only takes one. It only takes one general manager or one coach or one front office to say, here's where we use this guy. I mean, you keep hearing rumors about him ending up maybe in Los Angeles. He's a UCLA kid. I mean, everybody seems to play better when you're with LeBron James. So I think Chicago has to do something. I'm seeing them in a similar light than I did with the Toronto Raptors last year, the year before. It's been the same team for 2 or 3 years, and you haven't advanced. And we see in Toronto, they finally said, okay, we're going to move in another direction. I wonder if it's not time for Chicago to do that. Just my thinking. I mean, can they catch lightning in a bottle and turn it on and make a run, and then maybe everybody looks better and trades kind of materialize in front of you? Maybe, but I don't think you can wait for that to happen. You might have to push the envelope a little bit.
Sherm, real quick, did you see that that Dillon Brooks foul on Jared Vanderbilt, and then the flagrant on LeBron? What do you make of that?
Listen, Dillon Brooks to me he plays the villain role well. He's skilled though. He can play. He's tough. He's kind of a throwback player from that perspective. And his beef with LeBron, I think, is just the way Dillon Brooks can impact people, even how great they are. He's got that in him. And I think he's going to be a disruptor. And when you talk about Houston, he adds that grittiness to them. And the fact that he created that foul and that whole mess against LA, and then his team ended up beating LA. If he's my teammate, love him to death. If I'm playing against him, I want to tap him out as quickly as I can.
Listen,
you can hurt somebody pushing someone from the back. Like that's something. That's not nothing.
Hey, come on, man. Don't talk to me like that. There's a lot of fouling. There's a lot of physicality out there.
Pushing from the back with the guys in air. Yeah, pushing from the back with the guys in the air.
I know it's not safe. I know it's not safe. But
you know who take them right now?
When men play basketball.
You know who'd take them right now? Memphis.
Yeah. Well, they obviously
take that
didn't.
Back in a heartbeat.
I mean, that's interesting because they didn't. They decided to let him go. Jack, what do you make of it?
Well, I see your point about pushing in the back. I get that. I do think that the NBA has gone so far the other way that a guy like Dillon Brooks really stands out that much more. And probably obviously a Draymond Green stands out. But there aren't a lot of players that play that way right now. I think the guy plays, and he plays like he cares. And to the point of Jonesy and Sherm, I think if you're a teammate of the guy, you love him. And if you're in his fan base, you love him. Yeah. Does he push it a little too far? Yeah, it probably does. But there aren't enough guys that push it that way anymore. So to me, I love his competitive spirit. And as long as you can channel it properly, you live with that.
Jack, are you in a hotel right now?
No, why? I'm not in a hotel.
That chair you're sitting on looks like one of those hotel chairs. I wanted to know what they felt like because Because I see them in hotels. I'll never sit on a chair for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, it's very comfortable. No,
it looks comfortable. All right, good to stop it there, guys. Great stuff.
I'm going to go to bed right now after that one. I can fall asleep right in the chair.
Next game for the Raptors, Friday against the Houston Rockets. Tip-off goes at 8 p.m. Eastern. Raptors Tonight will go live on YouTube shortly after the game. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.